Welcome to your latest Forest news. Coming up on today's episode, Chelsea are knocking on the door yet again for Murillo. Forest raiding and reigniting Riquelme hunt. Forest confirm Milenkovic as a Red. And Cahill signs for Forest. All this and plenty more coming up on your latest Forest news. Let's get into it. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to your latest Forest news. And there's a lot to update you on tonight. A second episode. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And make sure you check out CCL for all your computer needs. If you're looking to build a custom build PC, then these are the guys for you. Use code FFTV25 for any orders over 300 quid. Okay, let's jump into the news and let's start with this annoying news from Chelsea yet again, who are re-inquiring about Murillo. Milenkovic, I was going to say? Murillo. My God, if they're just coming now for Milenkovic and the ink isn't even dry. Anyway, they want Murillo, and Murillo is still high on their priority list. And they know the price that Forest are asking for, which is of course £70 million. And they still are not being put off by this. So Chelsea are going to keep coming in. They're going to keep probing and probing away and just going to see if they can knock the doors down. Now, I think Forest are quite resolute in what they're saying. They're basically telling everyone, if you're going to knock on the door, it won't open without a check for 70 million plus. So Chelsea are clearly not willing to spend that kind of money yet and are seeing if they can negotiate. Otherwise, they would have put in a bid by now. But the real issue on this isn't that Chelsea want him, isn't that Forest have a 70 million asking price. It goes back and boils back to the fact of what is Murillo going to do? How's his mindset going to be off the back of it? Is his head going to be turned at all by these offers? Now, speaking to a few guys we do know, what we know is if Murillo wants to leave or is going to leave Nottingham Forest, it's going to be in the pursuit of at least Champions League football. That will be his number one choice priority. He may second or downgrade himself if, say, Chelsea came in, offered Forest their money, and then offer Murillo a really big package with a promise that they're building towards Champions League football, because let's face it, they aren't who they used to be. And that would be his kind of second tier choice. But the other option, and this is still a real viable option, I will fill you guys with hope, is that nothing has been written yet. And Murillo, as things stand, doesn't really have or is pursuing the plans to leave Nottingham Forest. And what do I mean by that? He's not actively sending his agent out to tap up Man City, Arsenal, or any of the other clubs he's mentioned. But if the courtation, or courting is the right word, comes from the other direction, that a club comes, offers Forest the money they want, they then give him permission to speak to Murillo, then Murillo will consider his options. There is definitely, in my opinion, going to be bids coming in for Murillo this transfer window. The question is, how strong is Forest resolve on their asking price of 70 million for him? We've seen Manchester United snub their nose towards Everton for Branthwaite, and they went and bought some no-name kid from France instead. And will Forest feel that same kind of pressure now, that if a club comes in and they snub them, and the club goes elsewhere to pick up a cheaper, younger defender, not that you can get much younger than Murillo, will Forest be a little panicked into maybe lowering their price for Murillo? So we'll keep an eye on this one. It's been quiet for a couple of weeks, which I like on the Murillo story, because it means he can get on with the business of pre-season and getting ready for the Premier League season. But I have very little doubts that bids will start to come in for Murillo, but probably towards the end of the transfer window. But are you guys over what he said in the Brazilian interview he did a couple of weeks ago? Do you want him to stay or do you want him to go? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, speaking of players being courted again. Forest are doing the same thing with Palmeiras over Riquelme. Now, Riquelme is a player we brought to you probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We told you that Forest were very interested in him around the time that we were looking at Eric da Silva. And it was almost like these two negotiations and talks were happening at the same time. Eric da Silva got over the line, and then it went quiet on Riquelme. However, this has now been reignited tonight, and it's coming out. Now, I haven't been able to verify these sources, but I would expect them to be correct because Forest have shown an interest in him a couple of weeks ago, which we know at FFTV was true. Now, if you need refreshing on who Riquelme is, I'll leave the link for the video with Antonio where he talked to us about Eric da Silva and Riquelme in mega detail. I mean, if you watch it back, Riquelme is the second half of that video. But if you listen to the first half where he's talking about Eric da Silva, everything he said about him was spot on to the sample size we saw at Chesterfield. So what he's saying about Riquelme as well, I trust him with his evaluation on these players. Now, Riquelme is 17 years old. He's from Palmeiras, where we got Danilo and we got Scarpa. He hasn't played many games. In fact, when I've talking to our friend Mario, the Palmeiras fans, he's still a bit of an unknown entity to the Palmeiras fans. This has required real deep dive scouting from Forest. 13 appearances, he's got 4 goals and 3 assists in their under-20s team. And he's a winger. Ideally, he plays on the left, but can play on the right-hand side as well. But I don't want to talk too much about it because if you haven't seen the Antonio interview we did with him, check it out. I'll leave it on the end screen. But he is a player that Antonio recommends to us, and therefore I would be very keen on Forest doing this business. And of course, he's Brazilian, and we need to get that Nottingham rainforest, spread back up because I feel we're short on a couple of Brazilians right now. But would you guys take him? Let us know in the comments down below. So moving on to the story that everyone knows, but for the sake of making sure we've covered it, let's just confirm Nikola Milenkovic is a red. Yes, it doesn't even make the headline on this video because we've told you over the last couple of days it's done and dusted. Now, he didn't come to Nottingham to do his medical. He actually went out to Spain. This is probably part of the story a lot of you guys may not be aware of. So we thought he would be coming into Nottingham today to do the medical. Instead, what happened, he got flown out to Spain so he could meet up with the team and start pre-season, which potentially may mean he could be involved in the game tomorrow or today if you're watching this in the morning. If you're watching this in the morning, why did you not have your alerts on? Make sure you got your alerts on, and just a quick reminder, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new as well. So he's done and dusted. I'm looking forward to seeing him. He may get 10-15 minutes out, or Nuno may surprise us and start him against Sunderland, but more likely than not, we'll probably see him at the Millwall game. So that's confirmed, a 5-year deal confirmed by Forest, £12 million. He's happy to be here. Ross Wilson's ecstatic to tell everyone that he was the architect behind it, and it's all good news. I like him. We got a 6'8" giant in goal. We got a 6'5" giant now at the back. And we've got the next best Brazilian wonder kid in Murillo. Who's getting past them? I have no idea. And I hope I'm right on that. But Einar on the left-hand side and Eric da Silva on the right, or even a Nico Williams. This team is starting to really take shape. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Okay, let me bring you some quick updates on the youthful side of Forest, as there have been some departures and some players coming in. Che Cahill. Yes, not Che Adams, Che Cahill. He's already probably better than Che Adams, has joined Nottingham Forest. Why am I telling you this? Because he's the son of Timmy Cahill, the ex-Everton player. He will be joining the Forest B team. They've signed, it's all sealed. It's a here we go on that as well. And we've had 2 exits of note. Panzo's gone, and also a song has gone to Rotherham. And I'm not disappointed, but I was kind of hoping to see a song in maybe a couple of pre-seasons before he got to go out on loan. I rate this youngster a lot, and I hope Rotherham, if you're watching, make sure you take care of him because you got a real talent on your hands, in my opinion. So I think a season away on loan will do him the world of good. and hopefully he will come back more developed and ready to maybe go out on loan with a bigger team. No disrespect to Rotherham there, or maybe ready to start pushing towards the Forest squad. And in terms of Panzo, I don't know what we do with him. I think he's got a year left on his contract, so it feels that this loan period is a way to get him off the books a bit, and then when his contract runs out, it won't be renewed as things stand. I always thought he had some potential, but it is what it is. It doesn't always work out. So those are the exits from the youthful side of the team, as well as the players coming in Che Cahill. And that brings you up to date with your Forest news. So if you haven't seen the video we did Antonio, click up here somewhere. I'll leave it there for you. We'll also have the watch along for the game tomorrow against Sunderland, as we always do. And there will be an expected lineup preview coming out for you guys, hopefully first thing in the morning. I'm going to go and lie down for a bit. So please hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new to Forest Fan TV. And we'll see you in the morning. Come on, you Reds.